This is Witch-based news for Friday the 22nd of November 2024. I'm Commander Buur. In Elite Dangerous news this week, Black Friday has arrived on the Frontier store, a fantastic Elite Dangerous animated short is premiering tonight, and there are increases to merit gains, faster progression and more as Frontier deploys its first update to Powerplay 2.0. If you enjoy our videos, consider subscribing to the channel and remember to ping the little bell to make sure you see all our content and community posts. And if you'd like to help support our channel, links to our Patreon and everything else are in the description below. The Elite Dangerous Arc store is currently in the midst of its annual Black Friday sale event, which for the first time also includes most of the new pre-build ships, including options like the Type 8 and the Python Mark II. Included in the sale options are also numerous skins, decals, ship kits, bobbleheads and cockpit voice assistants and carrier ATC announcers etc. But also, because it's Black Friday, the eternal popular Midnight Black paint jobs are also similarly reduced. If you're likely to buy anything from the Arc store in the coming months, now would seem to be the time to do it. The sale lasts until the 5th of December. We've often highlighted on this channel the apparently endless creativity of Elite Dangerous commanders away from the game environment itself. That creativity comes in many forms, from the paintings of Commander Beetlejude, the music of Commander ToCoSo, the machinima of Commander Ascorbius, the animation adventures of the Highwake or the cartoons of the Little SRV from Commander Dasjav, to name just a few. All these individuals and many more too numerous to mention are now pillars of the daily Elite Dangerous life. Every now and then a new creation or video from the community surrounding Elite Dangerous surfaces, and it's so good that it immediately feels like it's likely to similarly take up a spot in the pantheon of Elite Dangerous regular creations, and the Little Limpet animation from Commander Nick Webb 85 4 months ago was one such creation that had that feeling about it. It's a fantastic 3D animated short created in Blender about, as the title would suggest, the galaxy's hardest working employee, a limpet, and I'd urge you to take a look at it if you missed its original release, and suffice to say you'll find it linked in the description below. I'm very pleased to announce today that Commander Nick Webb has authored another follow-up instalment for the Little Limpet. We've had a preview of the video and it's even better than the original. It's premiering this very evening at 8 PM UTC, and the video contains sound effects and orchestrations from Commander ToCoSo, as well as modelling assistance from Commanders Cray Cray and DMC Rules, and it's definitely not one to be missed. You'll find links to the sequel premiere and the original Little Limpet in the description below this video, and grant yourself some extra points if you spot the LEGO reference in the premiere tonight. It's been 3 weeks since the Ascendancy update landed in Elite Dangerous, bringing with it not only the Arc's powered early access to the Mandalay Explorer, but a complete revamp and reboot of the Powerplay system in the game that allows players to effect the push and pull of the different galactic superpowers via their actions, directly driving the fortunes or indeed misfortunes of the Federation, Alliance and Empire's various sub-faction bubble region leaders. Long-time players of the now 10-year-old Elite Dangerous will likely already be aware of the pre-existence of Powerplay in the game, the original version of the galactic metagame having been launched way back in mid-2015, around 6 months after the game originally launched. It's fair to say I think that the original Powerplay 1.0 was a flawed beast, and eventually only really saw regular engagement from a fairly limited hardcore group of players. For the rest of the player base, limited engagement with the system was necessary to harvest some of the best ship modules in the game, but once those modules were obtained, yeah, I'm looking at you prismatic shields and Roffle Loller packhounds, the system was quickly ignored again by the vast majority of players, as long term engagement with the system provided no real longer term significant benefits, and the gameplay necessary to engage with it was at times obtuse and often obfuscated to say the least. And that's how the system has stayed for over 9 years. Fast forward to October this year then, and Powerplay 2.0 has launched, changing forever the accessing of those same powerful modules, adding new ones and also giving much more meaningful long term reasons to engage with the system, and really importantly gluing that engagement to familiar and understood activities in the game. In very simple terms, the individual player journey with Powerplay 2.0 has much more in common with more traditional MMORPG environments. Continued engagement with the system providing ever increasing ranks, no decay in any obtained ranks for not engaging in it, and access to more things and more stuff of value in the wider game as you progress through those ranks. And all of this progression is entangled with the efforts of other players in other factions doing the same for their power, thereby providing the catalyst for the various powers to push and pull against one another. With any complex system like this, especially in a live service environment, there are however going to be unforeseen effects and of course bugs that need to be ironed out as the system matures, and Powerplay 2.0 is no exception in that regard. Over the last 3 weeks, as Powerplay 2.0 has gone galloping off into the wilds on its own, Frontier has been monitoring how players interacted with it and obviously watching what numbers were being generated by Powerplay, and in particular how those numbers were being generated by the players. And this week Powerplay 2.0 saw some fresh emergency measures taken when those numbers were clearly running away via the use of still perfectly legitimate actions, and also action taken when numbers were being generated by players exploiting newly discovered bugs. To that end, earlier this week, whilst they investigated, the Cambridge based developers suspended the ability for players to gain Powerplay merits via the trading of rare goods, the delivery of data to Odyssey level settlements, and the recovery of escape pods. As at the time of recording, 2 of those specific activities are still in a state of suspended animation. You can perform the action still, but there are specifically no merit gains from them, those activities being rare goods trading and the recovery of escape pods. As the week progressed, Powerplay 2 did also see its first proper update and adjustment of its systems with a full-on patch, fueled by some server downtime on Thursday morning UK time. Posting to the official forums after the update, Senior Community Manager Paul Crowther noted that it was the company's ongoing intention to ensure that, quote, all activities with Powerplay 2.0 both feel rewarding and are viable in advancing through the ranks quickly, allowing commanders to obtain the first Powerplay modules in a much shorter time span, end quote. Further noting in the same post that, as part of the update, merits gained from exploration data had increased by 6 times and all other sources by 4 times, with the effects on systems scores and their associated progression being unchanged. The change being part of the wider effort to get commanders through the level progression and to the shiny stuff faster. The point about balance and progression was further confirmed with the patch notes that were published the day before the update itself went live. As part of the post, Paul stated that Frontier were keen to see that a wide diversity of gameplay options were viable within Powerplay 2.0, with no one activity feeling significantly weaker than any other, and that they would continue to monitor and adjust as needed to ensure that no one gameplay option raises to the top and becomes a must play go-to meta that players feel forced to gravitate toward in order to adequately progress. Again, all feeling very MMORPG. In more specific fixes, the patch notes from the update noted that Aisling Duval's Powerplay systems now correctly flag Imperial slaves and narcotics as illegal, whilst Archon Delane's Powerplay systems will now open black markets in systems where they were not already present, and Pranav Antal's strongholds and fortified systems will close their black markets. There's a few other changes of note as well, and we've linked below to the full notes if you want to take a walk through them yourself. Overall, when evaluating a wide-reaching in-game system revamp like Powerplay 2.0, comparisons with the original iteration of the system are inevitable. Thus far, the all-important levels of player engagement with the system seem very high. There was obviously a spike at the start of the Powerplay 2 era, and you would expect a drop off in levels after players satiate their initial curiosity, but it does seem that players are largely remaining engaged in the system, interested in its to's and fro's, and focusing on their own progress as well as that of their chosen superpower leader. Assuming continuing and ongoing monitoring and adjustments from Frontier, I can't see why Powerplay 2.0 won't go on to be very successful for the game, and when coupled with the incoming colonisation gameplay, it's going to be genuinely fascinating to see where it goes, literally and figuratively, from here. On the Loose Screws Elite Dangerous podcast, the crew there have described Powerplay as a glue that sticks all the disparate pieces of Elite's founding gameplay options together, and right now, to me, that feels very much the case. Did you grab anything in the ARX store Black Friday sale? Are you attending the Little Limpet premiere, or have you watched it since? And how have you found the round of balance changes in Powerplay 2.0? Let us know in the comments below. That's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back later this week with more videos. Until then, 07 Commanders, follow the greens on the way out and do keep clear of the toast rack. We very much look forward to seeing you next time.